up, guys? How you doing? So real quick, what I wanted to explain is we're going to talk about VA permanent total. And with VA permanent total, PNT or TMP, however you want to call it, is um, that for me, my situation and what I'm going to do in regards to writing the letter to the regional office is I'm going to write it, and hopefully they get to review my case, which is what's going to happen. They're going to review my service connections, and based on the letter from the provider, they're going to compare. And after that, I'm going to also submit an evidence that I'm continue going to my provider on a monthly basis, and that they get to read the notes, and they will make a decision based on if I should be a permanent total. But before I continue on, I want you guys to do me a favor: subscribe to the channel, comment, whether it's good or bad, just comment. Like the video or dislike the video, have whatever you want. But what I want to create is a vibe, a community that we be able to share our experiences with the VA. And what I want to do today is address the opinions that I've been getting, and whether they're good or bad, I'm gonna address them. And all opinions is accepted. At the end of the day, you guys are looking out for me, and I love it. And just by me sharing my experiences, I want to look out for you guys, so like that you guys don't go through the same problem as I do. And if you guys want to sit back and watch to see if me writing the letter gets, will get me that permanent total, and then you guys will do it, by all means. I'm here to be able to share my experiences and help you guys out. So this is why I wanted to explain to you guys, for the guys that are, giving me the opinions not to do it, I might be rocking the boat or anything like that. Yes, I want you guys to understand me, where I'm coming from. So there's a lot of veterans that I know that don't even go to appointments, and it's just based on their service connection, based on how they're functioning. And whether it creates anxiety attacks or physically they can't come to the appointments, they have maybe nurses going to them, or they're being taken care of offhand. That's what works for them. So they're at 100% for their own reason, and this is what the evaluator, the reviewer, will do. Based on the evidence that those veterans have provided. For me, I do go to my appointments, and it's not one of those, but how come I go to my appointments and I'm at 100% of them? I might lose mine, but those veterans don't go to their appointments and they are 100% and their permanent total or their individual employability. That's not what we're doing here. This channel is not for any of that. So that's what I get, in regards to sometimes the opinions, or what I mean by bad opinions. Don't compare each other to don't compare yourself to another veteran and what their situation is. See what works for you. So when I state that this is what works for me and this is what I'm gonna do, is for a few reasons. Again, based on my service connections, I have to work. And I don't want you guys thinking that, oh, you're permanent total, you're not supposed to be working. No, that's not what permanent total means. Permanent total means is that your illnesses are chronic, and that's up to the doctor to state that. So it's not up to other veterans to state, yo, but hold up, it says it on this paperwork, on the CFR, that law, that code, that you're not supposed to be doing. No, the code, the way it's interpreted, and again, it's an interpretation. Um, is permanent total. You can work. You can continue working. And it's based on the veteran. So for me, I have to work. I have to stay busy. And so my mind is at 100 miles per hour, and my body needs to catch up to it. So I do. And I have to stay busy. Because if I don't, my mind will continue going at 100 miles per hour. And if my body doesn't catch up to it, doesn't do anything for it, and just remains still, depression tends to start brewing. And it tends to start growing from there. And I don't want that. I'm trying to stay away from that. So this is what I've been able to do to control my symptoms, for the last, over 10 years. because I'm going on 17 years since 2003 on the initial push. But yes, this is the way my body works. This is the way I function. So a lot of guys are stating, "Oh, but you work and you're not supposed to be permanent total." Listen, permanent total does not mean that you can't work. Individual employability means that you can't work. So let's say you go and you apply for IBS. And this is what I want to explain about individual employability. I'm going to try to make it quick, guys. Please do me a favor. Don't turn off the channel. Keep going. Don't turn off the video. Just keep going. So this is what I want to explain about individual employability. When you file a claim and you go for IBS and you put individual employability, you have to state on why irritable bowel syndrome does not allow you to work. It doesn't allow you to work. So with me, I shit 8 times a day. As long as there's a bathroom provided, and I'm close to a bathroom, I'll be good to go, and it depends on, the virus that I caught, it also depends on anxiety attacks. I get hit from both angles, so it kind of sucks, but if you put in IBS and individual unemployability, your claim will get denied, or you'll get the service connection, but you won't get the rating that you want. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Now, there are service connections such as your back. Let's say you have herniated disc or anything like that, whether it's cervical, lumbar or door. I forgot what it was. It will affect your claim. So if there are service connections such as your back, PTSD, migraines, knees, if it prevents you from working, then you can apply for the individual employability. And you still have to show proof that you're unable to hold the job, that your income level is not as good, because you're going from job to job. You're either getting fired because of your service connections, or you're getting let go, or you quit, based on a reaction that you had, on a symptom, whatever it was. You show that paperwork, and it will work for the individual unemployability claim that you're going for on the service connection, and you'll get maybe all 3, which is the rating that you deserve for the service connection. You'll get the permanent total, and you get the individual employability. So that's what that works, and that's for certain veterans. That's what will work for them. But for me, the individual employability wouldn't work, because it doesn't matter about the individual employability. I have to work. Even though my symptoms, tend to, sometimes come out, I have to make it work, because there's other factors that come into it, and I have to control it the way I control it. Yes, the VA has been able to show me different other ways on how to control it, and it works. It works to a certain point, but my ways have been working for since 2003. It's the way my body reacted, and the way it was fight or flight. So my body decided to fight, and it's like, this is how we're going to continue on, and things change. So again, continue looking at the video, because I want you to understand that this is why I'm going for permanent total. So yes, I can get a permanent total 2 years from now when I apply, given my DBQ on my compensation and pension exam that's coming up in October 2021. Or I can send the letter now, which my provider is willing to do for me. Now, if I, again, do that letter now, and this is where I fucked up. I don't know if I explained this already. But if I do the letter now, then my permanent total starts now. And with the permanent total, I will get the benefits that come with it are Chapter 31 dependency education assistance that my family will be able to get, whether it's wife or kids. They'll be able to get, they turn 18 or whatever it is, they'll be able to get. The other one is DIC, which is Dependency Indemnity Compensation. So let's say from today onto the 10th year, if something was to happen to me based on my service connections and I was to die, if for some unfortunate reason I was to die based on my service connections, then they get the DIC benefit, which is the dependency indemnity compensation benefit. And let's say I have no wife and I just have kids. Then they get my kids get the DIC up to their 18, which is dependency indemnity compensation, or they get it to 23 if they're going to college. That's the way that benefit works. At the same time, the DEA also works as well with Chapter 31, which is the dependency education assistance. The other thing with the permanent total is that I don't have to deal with the 5-year, 10-year, 20-year rule, where from the day that you receive your 100%, you get on the 5th year, you get a compensation and pension exam. And they'll review, if you're going to your appointments or anything like that. And on the 5th year, once they review all of that, if you continue your appointments and you're still doing bad, they'll let you keep the 100% and you'll be a scheduler rating. Then after that, on the 10th year, they'll do another evaluation. By this time, they basically won't take you the 100%. If you continue on to your appointments and whatever it is, by then you get to keep your 100% as long as you pass it within that first 5th year. But if there's anything like fraud or anything like that, then they'll review your case again and they might lower it or take it away. And on the 20th year, once you hit that 20th year, they won't be taking anything away. It's just a regular compensation and pension exam. And to be honest, it's one of those checkoffs to see if you still fucked up. And after the 20th year, you're good to go. But you can get the permanent total at the 5th year, so you'll be fine. But I'm not trying to go any of that. I can also get the 10th on the 10th year. I can get the permanent total, but I'd rather start the permanent total now. And it's one of those that having to go as a scheduler rater, having to go through these 5th, 10th, 20-year rules, it kind of sucks. Now, I don't think the 5, 10, 20 years pertains to people that are below 100%. So if you're 90, 80, 70, it doesn't. I don't think it pertains to you. But you are subject to your rating changing. You are subjected to your if you get better at any point, your rating will change. And that's one thing that with my permanent total on the 5th year, let's say it does get lowered, I'd be fucked. So try to keep I want my permanent total. I want it to not affect me at all. And that would be just for one rating at the same time. You want to get permanent total on all the service connections. Well, it doesn't work that way. So you get permanent total for a total 100%, but you want to try to get it static. So let's say PTSD is 100%. If I get that to be, if the provider puts that it's chronic, it will no longer ever get better, and it could get worse at any point. It gets given a static on it, and because that rating is 100%, it will stay permanent total. But then the other ratings are subjected to get changed at any time. Now let's say IBS. If my provider writes that this rating will no longer ever get better, it will get worse, or it just remains the same, there's something that we can't get better, then you could write that, send that for the letter, and it will get put as static, and it won't ever change. Let's say you're at 30, 40, 60%, depending on what it is, lumbar, cervical, thorambar, I think it is. If it stays chronic, your provider writes that it's chronic, or puts it in the notes that it's chronic, or writes a letter for you that is chronic, you can grab that, submit that paperwork in at your compensation and pension exam, and what they will do is put it as static. You can send it to the regional office, go through VA organization, well, a DAV or some type of organization that will be able to help you out, because at the end of the day, they're down at the regional office. They'll be able to make a copy of it, put it in your files, and send it over to the VA regional office, which is just walk down the hallway, and they can't ever say that they never received this paper. Why? Because it came from the organization that is down at the regional office. So this is my suggestion to you guys. is if you're not with an organization, my advice, if you're not with an organization, get with one, because at the end of the day, it kind of helps out. It helps out in the sense that when I get this letter done, I will send it to the regional office where they have an office. My organization has an office, and then they will walk it over to the regional office after they made their copies and put it in my file, and they will take care of it. If you're up for an appeal, they will take care of it. Why? Because they will be standing there with you at an appeal. If you need any advice, they will stay. You make an appointment with them, they will help you out, and it's up to you which DAV rep you want giving you advice, because again, at the end of the day, not all of them are correct. So this is that's my advice to you. Now, what works for me might not work for everybody. It will work for some, but not everybody. So I want you to grab this advice and tweak it. Tweak it to work for you. And then the other thing is that take every advice that's given to you, every opinion that's given to you, on what another person might think that you should do, and take it as an opinion. It's not the word of God. Take it as an opinion. So if I give you an opinion on what you should do, I want you to evaluate it and see if it works for you. Because at the end of the day, what worked for me might not work for you. It might work for some, but not everyone. So that's my advice to you guys, and this is why I wanted to explain what is gonna, what might work for me, and take my experiences as, let's say my rating does get lowered. Don't fucking write the letter, and it might affect your rating. But let's say I get the permanent total and it works. My review, yes, my service connections get reviewed and it works for me. It does. It works for me, and see what you could do that might work for you. Is there a template out there for writing, for the provider to write a letter? There might not be a template. I haven't seen a template. I've looked for it. But what I'm going to do is a letter style. I know how to write a letter. I went to school for it. Well, not for it, but I've taken courses on it. So again, this is just my advice. See what you can do with it, and see what happens. All right, guys, take care, have a good one, and don't worry about rocking the boat. At the end of the day, this is a long fight, and it will always be a long fight. But it's okay. Take it with a grain of salt. All right, take care, guys. Bye bye.